I can't take him seriously now. I stuck a little eye on him. Right, today, guys, we're making this lunatic-looking pigeon, little resetting air rifle target. It's got a little paddle up on the top here. While I get everything set up, I'll show you how I made him, and then we'll see how he shoots at the end. Hi guys, welcome back. So I can't get a break with this weather at the moment, so we're stuck in the shed again, target building again from some scraps. We have got the leftover target paddles that I got off of Amazon. I bought a multi-pack a few months ago. We've made a few different targets with these already. We made the old saw blade target, which we're going to use out at the extended ranges. I also made the cool little spinner target with the little backing board built into it. Really quite happy with both of those. We've got 2 targets left. We're going to use one of these today. Then we'll have one single one left over, which I'm not quite sure what we're going to do with that little one yet. But I also found this little target plate. This was in my lockup. Haven't seen this for years. I think this was a front plate off of a Gamo type resetting target, something along those lines. Gamo for you lot that are a bit pedantic. But anyhow, we've got this target faceplate. The plan is to turn this into a little resetting type target, and then we'll reduce the aperture on there to something a bit smaller. That's about 40mm, so that's a lot bigger than I need. We've got just basic tools in here today, nothing too fancy. We're not going to be doing any welding or anything like that, so hopefully we can turn it into something usable, make the most of a wet and windy day. So let's get stuck in, shall we? It's the weirdest looking turkey I've ever seen, but it's quite nicely powder coated actually. You can see where I've not actually taken any shots at this before. That will soon get destroyed once it's being used. We will end up painting it a bit further down the line, but these little paddles, you've seen these before if you've seen any of the previous videos. They've just got a little twisted top on here. The plan is going to be to fit it behind the target faceplate itself. We're going to make up a basic little L bracket to support it, so once it gets hit, it should hopefully stand up here, and then we can just knock it back down. Now we will need to reduce the aperture on here slightly. The target is only marginally, or the target paddle is only marginally larger than the hole. So when that's sat behind it, if that's set back a little way, there's a chance that your pellet might go through there. So we're going to reduce the actual aperture down to probably about 1/2 inch, something like that, quite small for some of the longer range shooting. We've just got some leftover scraps of aluminium, which I'm going to quickly chuck through the bandsaw, and we'll make up some little L brackets to support it. So get the saw set up and we'll do that now. Just going to quickly rip off about 1/2 inch wide strip. That's all we need just to make an L bracket. So I've got a dull woodworking blade in here. This is a 6 teeth per inch blade. It's a bit dull now. If you're careful, you can cut aluminium with it beautifully. It's just on the verge of being no good for clean woodworking, so I keep all of the older blades and they will trim up aluminium nicely. Of course, you could do this just with a hacksaw if you have to. Right, I want to tap it M5, so we're going to drill it 4.2mm. Just quickly whiz a hole through there. It's quite a soft alley this. I've no idea what grade it is. It came off the scrap pile, but it's pretty soft. Right, I've got a hole through the centre there, sort of. Walked a little bit. No, that's not too bad. It'll do. Right, we'll chuck that in the vise, and then we're going to tap that. Right, scruffy, but it'll do. Right, I'll chuck it in the vise, just quickly bend it at a right angle on the mark. Perfect. If we need to just adjust the angle on that, we can do. It's super soft, so it can all be rejigged if we need to, but that looks a pretty close 90 on there. Right, nice little 90 in there, so that's now drilled and tapped M5. If you look here, you see where these are twisted, there's these little shoulders. I'm going to quickly chuck them in the vise and just file these back a little bit so that the head of my bolt, you can see there, it sort of just fouls on the edge. So I'm just going to knock them edges off on both sides, and then we'll bolt this together. We'll pop a little nylock nut on the inside of this to hold it all together, and then this is the part we're going to then drill and affix to the back. of our little turkey, probably over this side somewhere, so on the back of it, behind it like that. And then we'll clean all this up because that looks a little bit manky. Need to round all these edges over, deburr it nicely. I wasn't going to bother, but that looks pretty rough. We can do better than that, so we'll give it a nice tidy up before we finish up. Right, great, that's going to sit on there lovely. So we'll give this a little quick test assemble, and then we'll work out where we need to fit that all behind the little turkey faceplate. Right, I can adjust the tension on there by doing up the bolt. Now this is the threaded section, the aluminium section. I'm just going to pop a nylock nut on the back here. I've rounded these edges off, as you can see now, so we've got full travel on there. Pop a nylock on here, and then we can drill this and work out where it's going to sit behind the actual faceplate. Right, so now that's on there, we can offer it up to the turkey. Need to make sure that we cover up this hole, because it's larger, of course. We want to make sure when the paddle's on the back of it that it covers up as much of the hole as possible. So we need to drill our holes in here first, then we'll transfer the marks onto the turkey. Just put a little bit of masking tape on there so we can see our marks nicely. Just going to give that a little eyeball. I'm going to quickly trim that bolt down as well, because I want to put a hole just there and there. Well, that's loosely assembled again. Just got a little bit of wiggle room on the paddle itself, so we're offering this up, make sure that it covers the hole in the faceplate. Right, there we go. We can draw those through from this side, and then we can bolt that on. The last thing you want to be doing is drilling a short piece of metal, because you know what will happen. You'll end up whipping it round, taking your fingertips off. So kept it a bit long. We can just trim that off last minute. So, right, cool. Let's get them drilled. I know what a lot of you are thinking, why aren't I using the big pillar drill behind me? Well, the long and short of it is I don't want to get all this junk all over it. The last thing I want on a nice woodworking pillar drill and all the tools behind us is all these filings, shavings. Like to try and keep them separate as best as possible, hence why we're just using the little batty drill. Right, that looks like it's drilled pretty well. Yeah, just chuck the old countersink on there, just deburr them edges, and we're going to countersink it from this side. Nice, that'll do. Right, so it's all loosely assembled now. Hopefully you can see that there. If you look around the outside of the paddle, you can see a little bit of light there. Now, if you was to shoot that at an angle, there's a chance that the pellets might go out the side. So we're going to bolt on an aperture reducer. Now we're going to bring this down to just over 1/2 inch, probably something in that region, with a plate over here with another hole drilled in it. That means that once we get hit, it will stand up nicely, drop back down again, and what it will do is stop any pellets going out through the sides there, because you can see that the paddle and the plate are basically the same size. So sits nicely. Just need to give this a final nip up altogether. It's all loose at the moment. Got a little bit of wiggle room there just to fine tune the paddle position in the hole. So yeah, really happy so far. Need to just trim this piece off at the side here. Going to cut that off just so it sits slightly behind the front edge. Something of a leg on there, and then we'll go and shoot it. Nice. Right, I've got a bit more of the alley plate there. Really this needs to be steel, but I'm not going to get the grinder out and everything in the shed today, but I will replace that. Let's do it in aluminium to start with. To be fair, this 3mm thick aluminium is absolutely fine at the extended ranges, sort of 75 yards plus. With a sub 12 air rifle, it won't damage that easily, but for the shorter range stuff, we definitely need to swap that out for a bit of steel. Let's just eyeball that, shall we? Right, a couple of holes, little one in the middle, small one there to bolt it onto the faceplate. We'll cut that out, we'll rough it out, and we'll chuck it on the old belter sander to clean that up. But we'll just eyeball it for the moment, that'll be good enough, I reckon. Right, nice. Drill the hit zone, drill the little paddle pivot. We'll get it bolted on, shall we? Oh, batty's dying. Hang on then, let's get another one. $14 in a bit. Nice, that'll do. Right, that's most of the bits made now. I'm going to give it a quick bolt together, a little test fit, make sure everything all lines up and is decent. So I've got my little target aperture reducer now, which is going to bolt on down the bottom there. If it all goes to plan, then I'm just going to clean up all these edges, round these off a bit nicer. So I'll just eyeball all of those. Then we'll give him a little paint. I don't think we're going to get to shoot him today because it's about to tip it down, but we'll get up there in the morning, so you'll still see it in this video. But I'm quite happy with that so far, just for some little scraps. We've got a little bit of cleaning up to do, and I want to paint him as well. So let's see if it all goes together nicely, shall we? So that's the little paddle assembly. Just bolts on the back. Yeah, that looks good. Definitely going to need to swap that out for a steel plate eventually. Oh, it's lively. Ta-da! I'm quite happy with that. Once we've given it a paint, we'll work out a foot assembly for it. Maybe we'll bolt them all together, as I said already, but I'm really quite happy with that. I've got a 14mm target now, slightly bigger reset paddle. I'm sure these were really cheap when I got them. I think you could buy these sort of face plates in a pack of like 5 to repair targets. I remember them being dirt cheap. I don't know whether you can get them anymore, but yeah, quite happy with that. I'm going to give it a bit of a clean up, get some paint on it. The next thing you'll see, we'll be at the farm giving it a little go. Right, it's just starting to rain typically. We're going to use the old 9015 today. I haven't used it since the end of last year. In fact, it was probably more like the end of the summer that we last used it. Got the Falcon on there now, so it's got the big endura on there. Just a little bit of gap between the scope and the shroud. Looks really cool. We've pinched the tier 1 mounts that we had on the XTI. I've made a new cheek piece, a slightly more slender one. I'm just going to put that back on. I've just been checking the power on here. Everything's as it ought to be, so really quite happy with this. Haven't used it for a little while, so I'm looking forward to trying it on our new little mad chicken target. Right then guys, so I've just checked the power on this. I've just adjusted my cheek piece slightly. Of course it's all new, so gone together really well. Maybe on the right hand side, if you picture down there, you can actually see next to the chicken 6 or 7 shots to bring it onto a 0, knocking the middles out of them little crosshairs down there. So I'm looking forward in the next couple of weeks. We've got some new barrel blanks on the way, some slower twist barrels, so hopefully I can get them machined up and we can do some comparisons between the faster and the slower twist rates out at range. I need to go and get the grass cut as well because it's starting to grow a little bit. So let's see whether our little mad looking chicken / turkey actually works, shall we? I can't take him seriously now I've stuck that eye on it. I think I'm going to put comedy eyes on all of my targets that are animals. It's brilliant. Well, we hit him, but he didn't stand up. Maybe we need to put a little bit more tension on the mechanism. I might slow that down. I wonder if the paddle actually flipped up and... Well, it sort of works. It's so nice to be out. I mean, it's raining, but it's very mild today. There's not a lot of wind. I'd really have liked to have given this a bit of a stretch of its legs, push the ranges out, but unfortunately the fields are all still flooded. The rain up here has been terrible of late. Let's try that on 30 mag. Don't normally shoot at that higher magnification. Now of course we've got the Falcon back on here, so I can actually bring the parallax or the focus distance back in. We're just under 25 yards, so I can actually use full magnification at this range. Oh my god, it looks massive. I'll tell you what I'll do. If you look at the bolt head that's there, that's holding that aperture reducing plate on, I'll see if I can stick one right in the middle of that hex head that's there. On a day like this, I shouldn't really be missing, to be honest, especially as we're pretty sheltered. There's not an awful lot of wind, but this target's really cool. I think what I need to do is just adjust the tension on that paddle a little bit, or maybe even put a magnet up behind the sort of faceplate so that when the paddle flips up, it sticks to the magnet. Let's go for the second bolt at the top. Oh, I got it right in there. Did that spark? What? That made a hell of a crack. Let's go and have a look at that. I think I've just stuck the pellet in the top of the 4mm hex head. Oh my god, it stinks down here. Look at that. That's really cool. Didn't quite stick him in the others. I'll tell you what, guys, this little target, he's really cute. I like him. Should we shoot his eye off? Let's go and shoot him in the eye. That's brilliant. I stuck that straight in that hole. I wonder if we can have another quick shot at the one on the left and see if we can get the pellet to actually stick in the hex key slot. Oh, I've done it again. Wow, that makes a hell of a crack. I don't know if it's sparking or not. We shoot his eye off. Tom, how can you shoot a poor little defenceless bird in the eye? 3, 2, 1. Oh, his eyes are gone. Oh. I don't think it matters how old you get. There's something really quite fun just about blasting targets. I really enjoyed building this one. He's really cute. We're going to add it to the collection of all the other ones that I've made, hopefully when we get a slightly drier day so I can do some work outside. I'm going to build up a big frame to get all of the targets together. So the big saw blade one, the little turkey / chicken one, get the old spinners out, and I've got a few more of my HFT targets. It'd be lovely to get them all on one big backing board. I'm also going to make a larger backstop for out in the field. Got plenty of mowing to do, got quite a lot to do. As soon as this weather turns, we'll get out as soon as we can. Really happy with how 9015 is at the moment. Looking forward to doing the barrel swaps on this. We'll have a little bit of an experiment with those when it all comes together. A bit of machining to do. We've got 1 in 30 twist barrels, so almost half the twist rate of the factory one. This is 1 in 17 or thereabouts, so one turn in 17 inches. The others are 1 turn in 30 inches, so an awful lot slower. Hopefully that'll mean with these JSB heavies that I've got a few more of now that they're pretty accurate down range. So yeah, quite a lot to get cracked on with, guys. I will see you in the next one. Look at that. Stuck it straight in. So these are 4mm hex heads. That's mental. That one looks like it came out when this one hit it, but the 9015 still doing its thing. It's getting on a bit now. That one's probably 8 years old. I've thrashed it, but still incredibly accurate. Oh, he's got a tear. Right, I'll see you later, guys.